I never imagined a broken engagement would lead me to love in the most unexpected place. I will never forget the day everything fell apart. It was a typical Tuesday. Birds chirping outside, sunlight streaming through the window. But my world shattered. I stood frozen, my phone vibrating in my hand. The message blinked ominously. I can't do this anymore. My heart raced, my breath shallow. Tears streamed down my cheeks. The ring felt heavy on my finger. A cruel reminder of unfulfilled promises. I loved him fiercely. We had plans. A small house, a big garden, laughter ringing through the halls. Now all I could hear was silence. I felt lost, like a ship adrift in an endless sea. My heart ached, each beat a whisper of doubt. Friends rallied around me, but their words felt distant, muffled by my pain. Claire, my best friend, held me as I sobbed, her warmth grounding me. You'll get through this, she whispered, but I felt shattered, pieces of me scattered everywhere. Days passed, each one bleeding into the next. I couldn't shake the weight of despair. On the outside, everything looked normal, but inside I was a storm. One night, restlessness consumed me. I ventured out into the dusky streets, shadows creeping like ghosts. My footsteps echoed, a stark reminder of my loneliness. I found myself at the local coffee shop, the aroma of fresh brew flooding my senses. Then I saw him. A stranger, dark curls falling over his forehead, eyes bright with intensity. He was sketching fiercely on a napkin, ignoring the world around him. Something about his passion pulled me in. I felt a flicker of curiosity, a pulse of excitement. My heart skipped a beat. The barista called my name, pulling me back to reality. I turned to leave, but I lingered a moment longer, stealing glances. Was it crazy to feel something? After the heartache, I gripped my coffee cup, warmth seeping into my bones. Just as I reached the door, the stranger looked up. Our eyes locked. Time froze. Each heartbeat echoed. I felt raw, exposed, but also alive. Just then, the coffee shop door swung open, the cold wind rushing in, shattering that moment. He smiled, a curious grin that lit up my insides. Then, just like that, he was gone, a fleeting dream in a sultry night. What was happening? A broken engagement turning into a spark of curiosity? I could hardly breathe. My mind raced as I stepped out into the night, the chill enveloping me like a thick fog. Could this chance encounter lead somewhere? Or was it another cruel twist of fate? I glanced back, the coffee shop's light flickering, the warmth inside calling to me. But I couldn't go back. I had to move forward. Didn't I? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The following morning, I awoke to gray skies, clouds draping over the day like a melancholic blanket. The hushed world outside my window mirrored the somber ache within me. As I absently sipped my coffee, I couldn't shake the stranger's smile from my mind. It was as if he'd slipped into my consciousness and carved out a small, bright space that offered an escape from the agonizing weight of my broken engagement. I curled my fingers around the warm cup, contemplating a life not dictated by pain. Just as these thoughts flickered to life, Claire knocked and entered, her face a mix of concern and determination. Hey you, let's do something today, she said, her voice firm. You need a break from this house, away from all this heaviness. I felt a flicker of rebellion against my own propensity to wallow, and nodded hesitantly. She dragged me to a small art fair downtown, where vibrant colors danced in stark contrast to my bleak mood. Claire gushed about different booths, her excitement infectious. I found myself smiling, a hesitant, unsure smile, bright paintings and delicate pottery, captivated momentarily by someone else's creativity. As I strolled beside her, something unexpected tugged at my heart. I spotted a canvas splashed with vivid blues and yellows, capturing the essence of a sunset illuminating a tumultuous ocean. For a brief moment I could almost feel that sea breeze peppering my skin, the possibility of those colors igniting something inside me. A neglected spark of hope. Beautiful, isn't it? A voice disrupted my reverie. I turned, and there he was, the stranger from the coffee shop. He wore an unassuming smile as he studied the painting, his dark curls bouncing slightly as he tilted his head. My heart raced, an erratic drumbeat echoing in the dizzying air. Yes, I stammered. I was just thinking about how vivid it is. Feels like freedom. He turned to me, his eyes bright and inviting. Exactly. This artist captured the chaotic beauty of life. Even in turbulence, there's something breathtaking. The warmth of his gaze washed over me. It felt easy, natural even, as though we'd known each other far longer than a mere moment. Before I could speak, Claire, noticing my flustered state, nudged me playfully and whispered, "It'll be right over there," gesturing towards a booth. She slipped away, leaving me in the sphere of this stranger's infectious energy. "I'm Leo, by the way," he said, extending his hand. I hesitated but then took it, the warmth of his touch sending a little shock through me, a reminder that connection was still possible. "Hi, I'm Emma," I replied, my voice steadying. "So what brings you here today? Are you an art lover?" "Not really. Just needing a change of scenery," I admitted, courage swelling inside of me. Talking to him felt unburdening, like the gentle tug of a life raft beckoning me back to shore. The conversation glided effortlessly, wrapping around us like a comforting blanket. We found ourselves discussing everything from our favorite books to our tastes in music. He spoke with a rawness that entranced me, revealing pieces of his life like shards of glass reflecting light, his struggles, his dreams, and an unquenchable thirst for art. For the first time since my engagement fell apart, I felt my heart unclenching just a little, exposing a soft underbelly that, while fragile, could still hold a flicker of warmth. "You mentioned needing to escape. Do you think you found it here?" Leo asked pointedly. I hesitated, my heart sinking slightly as the memories of what I lost flooded back me. Engagement, the dreams woven into it which served as a visceral reminder of my overwhelming pain. "Maybe," I finally replied. "But it's hard to let go of the past." He nodded knowingly, his expression softening. "I get that. I lost something too, not exactly the same, but something I thought would always be there. Can feel like drowning sometimes." The ocean of my emotions churned within me. His gaze felt like an anchor, steadying me amidst the turmoil. At that moment a deeper connection formed, one forged in shared pain and unspoken promises. But just as I allowed myself to hope, I heard Claire's laughter echo nearby, breaking the spell. In that instant the moment of connection shattered, the grounding tug of my reality returning. I glanced away, feeling a prick of fear creeping in. I started, my voice faltering. "I need to. Hey, if you ever want to talk or create, I'm at the cafe most afternoons," Leo interrupted, pulling a tiny scrap of paper from his pocket and scrawling down his number. "I'd love to continue this conversation." He hesitated before handing it to me, as if the act itself weighed heavy with possibility. "Thanks," I managed, pocketing the paper, a boost of warmth curling in my chest. But as my eyes flickered over to Claire, I realized I was standing on a precipice, so close to the edge yet still terrified. Moments later, Claire returned, her smile bright but her brow creased with curiosity. "Who's this?" "Just someone I met," I said, glancing back at Leo. But as I turned, he was already slipping away, merging back into the throng, leaving me alone with a rush of what-ifs. "Emma," Claire grabbed my arm, "you need to talk to him. He seems great." I could only nod, my heart a wild thrum in my chest. But uncertainty clouded my thoughts, and before I knew it, the opportunity felt like smoke slipping through my fingers. As we walked away, I glanced over my shoulder one last time. Leo was talking to someone else now, smiling and warm. Yet for me, that connection felt like a lifetime away, caught in the whirlwind of my own fears. The walls that I had built after losing everything felt more formidable suddenly, new colors of hope painted boldly around their edges. Yet I was unsure if I could step through them. As we headed back into the busyness of life around us, I made a silent promise to keep moving forward, even if each step felt unsteady. Just as I turned the corner, I felt the weight of my phone vibrating in my pocket again. I drew it out, my heart sinking at the dark omen it bore. "We need to talk. It's important." The message was from him, my ex, and the words felt like a chilling breeze, pulling me back into the depths of what I had fought so hard to escape. The juxtaposition of the chaotic fair and the stark message from my ex consumed me as I walked away from the vibrant colors and hopeful conversations. Claire chatted animatedly at my side, but her voice faded into a dull backdrop of sound. My heart raced and sank in equal measures, the lure of the future sparking against the heavy weight of my past. Emma, are you even listening? Claire's voice broke through my spiral of thoughts, concern etched across her features. Sorry, I got a message. I pulled out my phone again, staring at the text as if it held the answers to my turmoil. His name washed over me like ice water. I couldn't shake the feeling that whatever he wanted to discuss would anchor me back to a life I was desperately trying to escape. Look, I know it's hard, but you need to decide if talking to him is what you really want, Claire said gently, her eyes searching mine for understanding. This is your chance to choose your path. You have to decide if you're ready to let go of him completely. I felt torn, truth pulling and pushing me in different directions. Leo's radiant smile flashed in my mind, juxtaposed with the ghost of my past's hold. Moments from earlier clung to May's laughter, the way he seemed to understand my pain without me even having to say much. Hope flickered like an ember, and I couldn't help but lean toward it. I need to think, I said finally, my voice a mixture of resolve and uncertainty. Can we maybe go home? I just need a moment. Claire nodded quietly, respect for my need echoing in her silence. The ride back felt interminable, a tight ball of anxiety settling in my stomach. The city scrolled past like a blur of color, both vibrant and blurred by the shadows of my chaotic thoughts. When we entered my apartment, the familiar darkness enveloped me, the air thick with the echoes of past dreams, remnants of laughter, and the heartache of betrayal. I found myself standing by the window, watching the city lights flicker like fireflies, illuminating the corners of my mind I wished to ignore. And then I saw a piece of paper tucked safely in my pocket, bearing Leo's number. I pulled it out and traced the scrawled letters, feeling the weight of what it represented. An invitation to step toward the unknown. With hesitation I tossed it onto the table, uncertainty gnawing at me. A part of me craved to reach out to take that brave leap. Yet the fear of the past loomed like a shadow, shoving me back toward what was familiar, wrenching me from the cusp of a new beginning. I caught sight of my reflection in the window. The woman staring back at me was a stranger, someone who had lost a part of herself and was struggling to reclaim it. What would it take to unearth that neglected spark, to allow hope to bloom where pain had taken root? With a deep breath I turned away from the window, my heart still racing as I scrolled through my contacts. I found his number, and my finger hovered over the screen, fighting against every instinct that trapped me in the damp clutches of past mistakes. What if he didn't respond? What if I opened a door just to have it slammed shut? Before I could think any further, I pressed call, hearing the sound of the ring echoing through the silence, each one a reminder of my own foolishness. The anticipation was electric, pulse pounding brutally in my ears. Hello? His voice broke through the static and suddenly my plans wavered. Leo, it's Emma, I stammered, my heart pounding as uncertainty seeped into my words. Hey, I was hoping to hear from you. What's up? There was a warmth in his tone, and it wrapped around my insecurities, pulling a hesitant smile from deep within. I saw you today at the fair. It was really nice meeting you. I was wondering if you'd like to grab that coffee sometime? Of course. Just let me know when you're free. The conversation flowed with surprising ease, punctuated by laughter as I shared tentative bits of my life, my thoughts swirling between the pull of his energy and the nagging anxieties of my dreary reality. But as we were about to wrap up, the weight of my message flickered at the corner of my mind. Leo, actually, can I ask you a question? I hesitated, catching my breath. What do you do when something from your past comes knocking at your door? There was silence on the other end, tension threading its way between us, enveloping me like a shroud. You have to decide whether you want to let it in or keep the door closed, he finally replied, his voice softer, yet imbuing an unexpected strength. You can't forget, Emma, but you can choose what you let control you. I sealed my eyes, absorbing every word, feeling them settle in my heart. Thank you. Then before I could lose my nerve, I plunged ahead. Can you do me a favor? Anything. Promise me you won't let me give up on this chance, no matter how hard it gets. I promise, he said firmly, and those words became a lifeline, a tether to the fragile hope beginning to swell within me. I hung up the phone almost shyly, brimming with a blend of trepidation and thrill. As I sank deeper into my thoughts, the ominous buzz of my phone startled me. I unceremoniously swiped it open to find a new message, the name lighting up like a bright warning beacon across the darkened landscape of my day. Emma, we need to talk. I'm coming over. A chill washed over me, the finality of the words snagging me in place. My heart sank as dread wrapped around my chest, choking the breath from me. Even as hope crackled with electricity from my conversation with Leo, this shadow from my past threatened to pull me back, a reminder that the journey to healing is rarely without interruptions. What if he was coming back to apologize? Or worse, what if it was to demand explanations that I couldn't provide? As I sat on the edge of the couch, heart pounding like an erratic drum, I couldn't shake the sense that the moment I had just begun to claim might, in fact, be slipping away. The sound of the doorbell jolted me from my spiraling thoughts, each chime echoing my racing heartbeat. I hesitated for a heartbeat before slowly making my way to the door, the insistent ringing a reminder that the past, however tightly I held it at bay, had a knack for intruding when least expected. With a deep breath, I looked through the peephole to find his unmistakable silhouette, defined by the soft glow of the hallway light. Adam. Anxiety settled in the pit of my stomach, twisting and knotting tighter with each passing second. I had spent months reclaiming my sense of self, fighting against his shadow, and now here he was knocking at my door like an unwelcome specter. What do I even say? I murmured to myself, turning away for a moment, eyes cast down as I battled the whirlwind inside. Yet beneath that anxiety, a flicker of defiance sparked. This was my space, my choice, even if it felt like a house of cards about to topple down. Swallowing hard, I finally turned the door handle, revealing him standing there, uncertainty etched across his features. For a moment we simply stared at one another, two souls bound by shared history, yet existing in entirely different realities now. His hair still fell in waves around his forehead, the same way it used to, but his eyes were tainted by an apprehension I hadn't seen before. "Hey, Emma." His voice was softer, lacking the bravado I remembered, and something about that gnawed at me. I took a step back and gestured for him to enter, the act itself feeling monumental. That small motion felt like an invitation to dive into murky waters, and yet part of me longed to understand why the tide had turned. "Can we talk?" he asked, his voice tinged with an earnestness that made my heart clench. "Just talk?" I challenged, crossing my arms defensively. Here he was, having shattered my world once, and now he expected me to play the part of the understanding ex. What could you possibly say that would make any of this better? The moment hung between us, nothing but silence filling the space as he searched for words. It was awkward, charged with so many unspoken emotions. Finally Adam sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I know I messed up and there's no easy way to undo that, but I wish we could just talk through everything." "Talk? You missed your chance for that when you decided to walk away." I bit back before I could stop myself, feeling the defensive walls armor my heart. His shoulders slumped, and for the first time, I saw the depth of his remorse, a vulnerability I hadn't anticipated. "I'm sorry, Emma. I didn't know how to handle it. I thought stepping away would make it easier for both of us." I shook my head, heat creeping into my cheeks. "Easier? You think running away was easier?" It nearly destroyed me. Tears pricked my eyes, the years of suppressed pain threatening to overwhelm me, words spilling out before I could rein them in. "You just left. You think saying sorry is enough? Do you understand how lonely it was to figure life out without you?" The silence that followed was laden with bitterness and regret, my voice trembling as emotions surged. He moved closer, an instinctive gesture of comfort that I felt torn about accepting. "I do know, Emma. I felt it. My decision created a void I can't explain. I thought time would heal everything, but it just made me realize how stupid I was." Pain mingled with my anger, a complex concoction I was learning to navigate. My newfound strength mingled with the ache of the past, and I wanted to scream, to push him away, yet another part of me wanted to hear more. "Why did you come back now?" "I can't lose you again," he said quietly, eyes searching mine with desperation. "I know I have no right to ask for your forgiveness, but it haunts me. I'm not asking for anything more than a chance to make sense of what we had, of what we lost." A small part of me wanted to cradle that flicker of hope, to engage in the possibilities that teetered on the edge of reconciliation. Yet as I faced him, a sudden thought struck me, sudden and undeniable realization that my world was shifting again and I wasn't sure if I was ready for another upheaval. "Adam, I can't just forget what happened. I'm trying to move on. I finally started to reclaim my life." His expression turned pained. "You deserve to move on, you do. But can't we just talk? Please. Just talk one time? Suddenly images of Leo filled my mind, the warmth of his voice, the laughter we shared, and the light he had begun to cast in my darkened world. A strange loyalty to that budding connection teetered precariously at the back of my mind, the depth of Leo's strength a counterweight against the lingering shadows of Adam. Just then my phone vibrated insistently again, breaking through the thickening tension like a lightning bolt. I glanced at the screen to find a message from Leo, eyes widening as I read his words. Hey, just checking in. I'm thinking about you. Let's find a time to meet soon. The contrast of hope radiated through me, electrifying the air between us. My heart raced as conflicting emotions crashed against one another. This was my moment, the window where decisions loomed large yet delicate. And just as I felt the urge to both hold on to my past and reach for my future, a deeper uncertainty settled over me, a realization that standing on the precipice of love carried risks I wasn't sure I was ready to embrace. I'm sorry, Adam, I stammered, the words tasting bitter on my tongue. I need to think. I can't do this right now. As I pushed past him toward my phone, struggling to balance the remnants of confusion and the flickering light of Leo's connection, I could feel Adam's hurt consuming the space between us. In that moment, I heard the faintest whisper through the door behind me. Someone else had climbed the stairs, knocking now not on my door, but through the fog of my uncertain heart. Emma, it's Leo. Are you there? The resonance of his voice, anchored in warmth, made the air feel electric, filling every corner of my insecurities with possibility. Anxiety wrestled within me, stunned and aware that while my past beckoned for recognition, a vibrant present surged forward, ready to draw me into its embrace. Emerging between the threshold of choices, I stood there at the door, heart thundering as I faced the turmoil within, two paths diverging before me, with the potential for love wrapped in the folds of both. And I couldn't help but wonder, was it too soon to step toward Leo, to pursue what felt different, or would Adam's persistent call pull me back into a past I feared could leave me incomplete forever? For in loving both, I feared I'd lose a piece of myself in this complex dance of desire and regret, and the echoes of unresolved history began to circle around me like storm clouds, threatening to unleash their fury. In that breathless moment, I turned to the door, choices colliding, unsure of which pull would take my heart to safety or leave it stranded among shattered remnants. As I stood at the threshold, my heart a cacophony of conflicting desires, time seemed to stretch infinitely in that moment, a tangled web of confusion and apprehension wrapping around me. Leo's voice pierced through the haze, drawing me toward the possibility of something new, something untainted by the history I struggled to break free from. Emma, are you there? His call was insistent yet gentle, like a lifebuoy thrown to a drowning swimmer. I felt the warmth of his presence radiate even through the closed door, coaxing me to let go of the tumultuous feelings swirling inside. My fingers hovered over the doorknob, torn between the familiarity of my past and the beacon of potential that pushed me forward. But as I prepared to turn the handle, another surge of anxiety gripped me. What if I let Leo in only to find that my heart still belonged to the pieces of what I once shared with Adam? What if revisiting old wounds only brought more pain? I'll be right there, I called out, forcing my voice to remain steady, even as I felt the tremor within. Just a heartbeat before facing Leo, I turned back to Adam, whose gaze was filled with an intense, pleading hurt. I'm not trying to hurt you, Adam. I just need to take a step back. My heart ached as I said the words, but the truth was wrapped tightly around meth clarification that lingering feelings could entwine and choke what I was trying to cultivate anew. He opened his mouth as if to say something, but instead, he let out a low sigh, shoulders slumping in resignation. I get it, he murmured, and the sorrow in his voice resonated through the fragmented spaces of my heart. Adam took a step back, retreating deeper into the shadows of the room, leaving me on the precipice of choice. I felt the door pull toward Leo, the warmth of engaging eyes and the hope of laughter promising to light a path forward. I steadied my breath and opened the door wide to find Leo standing there, his face vibrant with worry transformed to relief. The tangible connection between us was electric, the air humming with something beautiful and alive. The shadows of doubt faded slightly with each second as I met his gaze, his features illuminated with genuine concern. Hey, he said softly, eyes scanning my face as if trying to read the storm behind my walls. I was worried. Are you okay? I nodded, though the tremors of uncertainty still danced within me. I'm okay, just a lot to process right now. As he stepped closer, I felt the warmth radiating from him, enveloping me like a protective cocoon. It felt so different from the tangled emotions I had just faced, with a drama contrast that was both a balm and a flicker of confusion. Want to talk about it? Leo offered, his voice gentle yet offered with a faint hint of apprehension, as if sensing the tumult whirling inside me. Actually, I hesitated, considering how much weight the past still bore on my heart. I think I'd like to just be with you. No pressure, just... The understanding in his gaze made tears prickle at my eyes. It was a kindness unexpected yet utterly necessary, like sunshine breaking through relentless clouds. Of course, he said, a tender smile creeping across his lips. How about a walk? Fresh air might do us good. As we stepped into the crisp evening, the air was teeming with the sense of fall, the earth's slow transition into the warm embrace of winter. My heart fluttered, buoyed by the sweet ghost of hope. Even as apprehension lingered with each stride, I felt the weight of Adam's visit slowly dissipate, replaced by the warmth of Leo's presence beside me, a reminder that something beautiful could still exist. As we walked through the neighborhood, the atmosphere shimmered with hints of laughter from distant gatherings and the brilliant tapestry of lights hanging overhead. How's your day been? Leo asked, diverting the heaviness of the moment with his genuine curiosity. Honestly? A little complicated, I confessed, stealing a sideways glance at him. The way his eyebrows knitted together in concern reminded me of the layers of understanding he brought into my life. I had an unexpected visitor today. Someone from your past? He asked, and the gentle tone in his voice felt safe, inviting me deeper into this space without pushing too much. Yeah, someone I thought I was done with, I admitted hesitantly, the taste of my own vulnerability sharp on my tongue. And I realized that maybe I haven't let go of some things or people. His expression softened, and I could see the empathy shining in his eyes, a silent assurance that I wasn't alone. It's okay to feel conflicted, Emma. It means you're human. Just remember, you deserve happiness no matter what happened before. For a moment the walls began to crumble, revealing the uncontrolled fears wrapped inside. But what if I make the wrong choice? It's so hard to know which direction to take. Just be honest with yourself, he said thoughtfully. That's the best compass you have right now. We walked in silence, the weight of the moon casting shadows that danced on the pavement beneath our feet. Each step felt both liberating and fraught with uncharted weight, my heart fluttering between longing and uncertainty, an emotional axis spinning wildly. Just as I opened my mouth to speak again, contemplating what truths I could unveil, my phone buzzed once more, scorching through the fragile air like thunder from above. It was a message from Adam, the words stark and raw, urgent enough to make my hands shake. Emma, I don't know what I'm doing, but I can't keep pretending I don't care. I can't lose you again. Can we meet? Suddenly the world seemed to distort around me, echoes swirling like leaves caught in a whirlwind. I could feel the tension in my chest tightening, the weight of Adam's plea crashing against the sincerity in Leo's unwavering eyes. Is everything all right? Leo's voice pulled me back, the concern evident as he saw the dread seep into my features. I stared at the message and felt a fracture line splitting the very foundation of my heart. The pull of the past surged against the soft light of what could be, offering a path that could change everything. I need a moment, I breathed, uncertainty flooding my voice as tears threatened to spill. Decisions loomed ominously ahead while the choices felt heavier than ever, taking me back to my tangled roots of love, heartbreak, and the unyielding path toward healing. As I stood there, torn between two worlds, the air crackled with tension, promises, and unspoken truths, the precipice ahead both daunting and full of possibility. Would I have the courage to reach for hope, or would I succumb to the entanglement of my past? In that instant I understood, standing still was no longer an option. The moment felt like being caught in a tempest, swirling with chaos and despair. As I clutched my phone, the glow of the screen burning against my palm, Adam's words loomed above me, oppressive and laden with years of history, years that weighed heavier than any past I had attempted to flee from. I can't lose you again. Those words plastered themselves onto my consciousness, a haunting reminder of the love I had once cherished and yet, somehow still lingered. Emma? Leo's voice worked its way through the fog, bringing me back to the present, his brow knitted in concern. You don't have to respond if you don't want to. Take your time. His understanding felt like a beacon, but inside I was drowning. And my voice cracked, emotion spilling over. It's just Adam. He's asking to meet. I hesitated, the silence stretching like an unyielding shadow between us. The moonlight seemed to hold its breath, waiting for my next words. Yet I felt so small, so terrified of the weight of this decision. What do you want to do? Leo asked quietly, his piercing gaze not just concerned but encouraging, an anchoring presence amidst the storm. I don't know, I admitted, fighting back the stinging tears as vulnerability encased me in its raw embrace. Part of me fears that seeing him will stir up everything I've tried to forget, but I can't just ignore what we shared. Can I? You have the right to understand your feelings, he reassured me. But remember, you're not obligated to meet him just because he's reaching out. Take a step back and ask yourself what you need, not what he wants. I was so grateful for Leo's wisdom, yet grappling with my emotions felt akin to sorting through tangled yarn. The more I pulled, the more knotted everything became. Across the street, a cluster of children giggled and chased one another. A joyful chaos that seemed blissfully unaware of the tumultuous waves I navigated. What if I'm choosing the wrong path? I whispered, as if admitting it would somehow summon the monsters of doubt lurking in the corners of my heart. Then you'll learn and grow from the experience, Leo replied, lacing his fingers through mine, the warmth of his palm grounding me in the present. Life is about choices, Emma. None of them are absolute. You have the right to change your mind. It's how we evolve. I stared at our entwined fingers, the way they fit together seamlessly, and for a moment, I felt the weight of my circumstances lighten. Maybe I had to reframe how I viewed the choices ahead, not as chains that bound me, but as stepping stones to a clarity I craved. My heart feels heavy, I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. I want to escape this entanglement of these emotions, the love, the history, the pain. I thought stepping away would help me move forward, but it seems like the past is clawing back, desperate to be acknowledged. Leo stopped walking, turning to face me, the sincerity in his expression both soft and fierce. Then you acknowledge it. Don't run from it, Emma. But remember, you can also carve out space for something new. His words hung between us for what felt like eternity, as I wrestled with the truth they held. Could I genuinely embrace the possibility Leo represented, while also facing the haunting remnants of my past? Fear tugged at the corners of my heart, but alongside it thrummed a hint of hope, a reminder of how colors had begun to seep into my once monochrome existence. The wind picked up a notch, sending a rustle through the leaves. Just then my phone buzzed again, breaking the tender moment, a reminder that the decision loomed like thunderclouds ready to unleash their downpour. I should probably respond, I muttered through a shaky breath, heart racing as I considered how to craft my reply. Just remember, you're in control, Leo encouraged. I took a deep breath, balancing on the edge of resolve and hesitation. Adjusting the weight of my phone, I began to type, my fingers moving with a mix of urgency and trembling fear. Okay, let's meet. Those words felt both liberating and like a noose tightening around my throat. I pressed send, the message flying out into the air, leaving me in silence once again. Confronted by the choice I'd just made, that I did it, I murmured, half in awe, half in anguish. I'm proud of you, Leo said softly, an earnest smile brightening the shadows of my turmoil. But before I could fully grasp the comfort in those words, an unexpected sound pierced through the evening air, a sharp cry, followed by a cacophony of laughter that turned into shouts. My head snapped toward the street, where chaos erupted as a large dog barreled toward us, its tail wagging like a flag, children trailing after it in glee. In that moment, everything came crashing back, the realization that life was an unpredictable dance, chaotic and beautiful, just like this instant. Let's not get caught up in the storm but find joy in the chaos, Leo said, a warm glimmer of hope in his eyes as he gestured toward the unfolding scene. I chuckled, sharing the lightness, even as the turmoil inside me churned. It was a moment of clarity within the emotional hurricane, the understanding that perhaps, while I must embrace the past, I could also revel in the present. But as our laughter subsided, a shadow edged into view from the corner of my eye. I spotted a tall figure approaching, familiar yet unforgiving. Adam, his expression unreadable, was striding toward us with determination, and in that instant my heart plummeted, swallowed by an echo of unspoken words and buried emotions seeking a path forward. Emma, he called softly, just as I braced myself for the inevitable collision of my past and present. suspended on a precipice of heartache and potential. The world around me blurred as I confronted the reality of Adam's presence. My heart raced, each pulse echoing the myriad of emotions I had only just begun to untangle. "Emma," he called again, his voice a mixture of longing and trepidation. Leo, standing by my side, shifted slightly, a silent sentinel prepared to protect me if the need arose. I glanced at him, his eyes filled with unwavering support, but they simultaneously held concern, a reminder that I was teetering on the edge of familiar chaos. "Hi, Adam," I managed to whisper, the sound barely piercing through the weight of the air that had thickened around us. My throat felt constricted, laden with everything left unsaid. His gaze swept over me, searching and uncertain. "I didn't think you'd actually agree to meet." I forced myself to breathe. A deep inhale, as if drawing strength from the swirling energy around us, the laughter of children, the joyful barks of the dog that had interrupted just moments ago. They were all reminders of life thriving amidst my internal struggle. "I needed to talk," I said finally, my voice steadier than I felt. "There's a lot that needs to be addressed." "Can we walk?" He gestured towards the park, as if motioning for me to follow him into that unknown terrain where every footstep could reshape our history. "Go ahead. I'll be right here," Leo interjected, concern tightening his features. I turned to him, grateful for his grounding presence, knowing now that my decisions were mine to make, and I needed to face them head-on. With a deliberate nod, I stepped toward Adam, my legs feeling like lead yet propelled by an unseen force. The park loomed ahead, and as we walked side by side, my mind buzzed with memories that flickered like fading fireworks, laughter under starlit skies and promises of forever that felt like a lifetime ago. "Emma, I've missed you." Adam broke the silence, his voice a mix of softness and urgency. "Things got out of hand. I just want you to know. Do you even understand what you put me through?" I cut him off, a rush of emotion spilling out like a river breaking free from its dam. "You left me to pick up the pieces of my life alone, and you think everything can just go back to how it was?" He flinched at my words, his expression shifting from longing to regret. I know I hurt you. I was scared, Emma. I thought I was doing the right thing by stepping away. But seeing you now, it's like I understand just how wrong I was." That I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. But instead, I felt the beginnings of calm settling in. "Then why now? Why come back into my life when I'm finally starting to find my footing?" "Because I realized I can't let the past dictate my future. I need to be honest with you about everything, about why I left, about what I'm willing to do to earn your trust back. I want to be a part of your life again," he said, desperation lacing his every word. With each confession, the air between us shimmered, charged with the complexity of our shared history. I wanted to believe in the sweetness of his words, but I couldn't let nostalgia blind me to the hurt still lingering in the shadows. "You talk about the past as if it's just a chapter to revisit, Adam. But for me, it's a labyrinth I'm still navigating. That's why I'm here," he insisted, his eyes shining with sincerity. "To help you find your way through it." As we reached a secluded spot in the park, where the moonlight danced upon the still surface of the pond, I felt the weight of the moment deepen. "But what if your helping means you're trying to pull me back into the storm I fought so hard to escape?" "I don't want to pull you back, Emma. I want to stand beside you if you'll let me," he said, his voice honest and low, reverberating in the stillness of the night. That I closed my eyes, allowing the cool breeze to envelop me, battling the urge to run. The scent of earth and blooming flowers was intoxicating, and for a moment, I allowed myself to imagine a reconciliation not just with Adam, but also with the broken pieces of my heart. Yet just as hope began to anchor itself in my chest, Leo's voice broke through my reverie. "Emma, can I interrupt for a moment?" I turned to find him standing at the edge of our conversation, his expression more foreboding than before. "There's something we need to discuss, and it can't wait," he continued, urgency coloring his tone. Prickles of anxiety danced down my spine. "What is it?" Before Leo could respond, a crackle of excitement erupted from the nearby playground as children surrounded the now sitting dog, showering it with affection. But the distraction fell to the background as Leo stepped forward, pulling me aside. "Just listen," he urged, his voice lowered but fierce. "I saw something earlier. Someone was watching us, someone who doesn't want you to know the whole truth about your past." I felt my breath catch, confusion swirling within me. "What are you talking about?" "Someone from before. Someone who knows about Adam and knows about you. You're not the only one with a history entwined in this mess." Chills coursed through me as I turned back to Adam, whose expression had shifted, an undercurrent of tension creeping into his posture. The revelations were beginning to collide, each moment threatening to unravel the fragile connection I was trying to form. Who was it? I demanded, heart racing as uncertainty seeped into the air around us, curling like a silent predator preparing to strike. Leo looked back, urgency etched across his features, resolute in the need to shield me from whatever storm loomed ahead. I don't know yet, but I need you to trust me when I say this isn't just about your past with Adam anymore. My heart thundered, frozen between the fear of diving deeper and the hope that still dared to rise within me. All around us, the laughter and innocence of childhood faded, replaced by the dark tendrils of something that threatened to snatch away the light we had found in this moment. And as I stood there, caught between worlds, the realization hit me. This was only the beginning, and the path ahead was fraught with more than just my choices. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows that intertwined with the encroaching twilight, echoing the confusion that swirled within me. Adam's presence felt heavy, yet strangely familiar, while Leo's concern pierced through me like a knife made of pure anxiety. I could feel the tension tightening with every passing moment, a palpable force that threatened to pull us apart. What do we do now? I asked, my voice trembling despite my efforts to remain composed. The revelation of Leo's warning hung like a storm cloud over us, casting an unexpected shadow on the fragile connection I was trying to rebuild with Adam. Leo looked at me, his brow furrowed. We need to keep our guard up. But first, let's not lose sight of what's right in front of us. His words hinted at the delicate balance between the past and whatever future was unfolding before me. Adam, who had remained silent during this exchange, finally spoke. Emma, I swear to you that I want to protect you. I need you to understand that I'm not the enemy here. His voice quivered slightly, revealing the vulnerability that lay beneath his bravado. Torn between the warmth of the past and the icy grip of uncertainty, I took a step back. But that's just it, Adam. I don't know who to trust. I can't just ignore the feelings of betrayal that run so deep. The flickering lights from the park lanterns cast a soft glow upon Adam's face as he took a few steps closer, gauging my reaction carefully. I made mistakes, serious ones, but am willing to fight for your trust, he said, desperation creeping into his words. All I'm asking for is a chance to show you the man I've become. Show me? Just like that? After everything? I scoffed, my heart pounding in my chest. Anger and betrayal twisted together like vines, making it hard to breathe. What you did isn't something you can just wish away with good intentions. Leo interjected, his cool demeanor faltering. Emma, I know this is hard, but we can't let fear dictate our decisions. We don't know the threat we're facing, but if we don't dig deeper, we'll always be running from something. Suddenly, a playful bark sliced through the thick tension, and I glanced back at the children with the dog, who were now tossing toys in the air, their laughter piercing the heaviness that clung to us. In that moment, watching the innocent joy unfold before me, I felt a stirring deep within longing, yes, but also a glimmer of hope. Maybe I need to step away for a bit, I murmured, uncertainty swirling like a tempest in my mind. Clear my head. Emma, wait, Adam urged, but I shook my head, needing space to breathe, to collect my thoughts, and most importantly, to feel safe again. As I turned to leave, Leo instinctively fell in step beside me, protective and unwavering, a shield against the swirling chaos. My heart felt both heavy and light simultaneously, as the weight of the decisions ahead loomed like a fog, thick and unyielding. We walked in silence, the echoes of laughter trailing behind us, mingling with the rustling leaves that whispered secrets of change. Each step, though distant from Adam, felt like a step away from the wreckage of my heart, even as the prospect of leaving him behind tugged unforgivingly at my spirit. What did you see, Leo? I finally asked, unable to hold the question back any longer. The shadows deepened around us, wrapping us in their confounding embrace. There was a woman. Leo hesitated, his tone thoughtful. She was watching us from the other side of the park. I couldn't see her face, but the way she lingered, it felt unsettling. I shivered, instinctively clutching my arms. What do you think she knows? It doesn't matter yet. What matters is that we figure out who she is before she does something reckless. My stomach churned. But why? Why would she have any interest in me? Your history with Adam, he said simply. You're at the center of something much larger than you realize, Emma. I can't let anyone take you away from the life you fought so hard to reclaim. Just as we turned a corner, heading towards an old oak tree that had been a favorite spot for lovers long before our time, I caught sight of someone standing beneath it, their silhouette sharp against the darkening sky. A sudden chill raced up my spine. Lyoto, you see her? I whispered, fear gripping me. He turned and his expression hardened. Stay back. The woman stepped into the dim glow of a nearby street lamp, revealing a face I recognized from the fragments of my memories, a ghost I had buried deep within. My heart raced as realization washed over me. Emma, she called, her voice a blend of familiarity and disdain, echoing through the night like an unwelcome song. We need to talk. She had found me. The world around me faded, the laughter of the children replaced by a suffocating silence that draped itself over the night. My heart thudded violently against my ribcage, every instinct screaming for me to run as dread curled in my stomach. How could she possibly be here? After everything? Who is she? Leo's voice was low, protective, but I barely registered it. All I could see was the woman who had haunted me in dreams and in nightmares, Elena, my former best friend, the betrayer of our shared vows, the reason for the fissures in my world that had finally cracked open. Elena, I breathed, feeling the name catch like glass shards in my throat. It was almost comical how life could draw you back to the very person who had torn your heart into. She stepped closer, her presence an echo of a past life. Emma, please. There's so much you don't understand. Her voice seemed to mellow from its initial harshness, not unlike the soft breeze that fluttered through the leaves. With Leo standing guard by my side, I stood frozen, torn between the storm of emotions wrestling within me. What could you possibly say that would change anything? I snapped, my courage faltering beneath the weight of her gaze. You hurt me, Elena. Your actions set everything into motion, the choices I've made, the risks I've taken. You can't just waltz back into my life after years of silence. I know, she said, her eyes brimming with an emotion I couldn't place. And it haunts me every day. But I didn't come here to reopen old wounds. I came because you're in danger. A flicker of something, fear? Intrigue? Flashed across Leo's face and he took a step forward. What do you mean, danger? His protective instinct surged to the forefront, but I felt the urgency in her words resonate deep within me. Adam is not who you think he is, she continued, each word carefully placed, as if she were navigating a minefield. You're just as much a target for the people he's gotten mixed up with as he is. The very idea sent a wave of loathing and confusion crashing over me. How could this be true? I glanced up at Leo, who met my gaze with a mixture of determination and doubt. Emma, I need you to trust me. Adam suddenly interjected, his voice breaking into the tension. He had approached quietly, his eyes darting from me to Elena. What is she talking about? You have to tell me the truth. For a heartbeat, the air was thick with a mix of disbelief and trust, all entangled with the history we shared. I could see the pain carved in Adam's expression, the vulnerability he just revealed. But Eleanor had already resurrected the shadow of my doubt. You even know what lies behind the closed doors of your past? Elena pressed, her tone growing firm. You think Adam is innocent in all this? Those you once called friends? They'll do anything to keep their secrets hidden. Secrets? Adam sounded incredulous, each word laced with desperation. What secrets, Emma? You have to tell me. I never wanted to put you in danger. You have to believe that. A cacophony of emotions danced on the edge of my thoughts, tearing at the fragile stitches within my heart. Memories of laughter we once shared flickered like ghosts in my mind, each one challenging me to remember the good, the love we had fought fiercely for. Enough with the riddles, I shouted, my voice cracking under the weight of the moment. What danger are you referring to? Elena inhaled sharply, as if processing the gravity of her words. There's a Groupons who will stop at nothing to get what they want from Adam. They're watching you. If you stay near him without knowing the truth, it'll only be a matter of time before you get caught up in their web. Leo stepped closer to me, placing a steadying hand on my shoulder. You didn't answer my question, Emma. Is there any part of this we can trust? I opened my mouth to speak, but no words came out. The storm of emotions gathering in my chest threatened to erupt, a tidal wave of uncertainty crashing against the walls I had built around my heart. Just then, the stillness around us cracked like glass underfoot as a sudden rustling emerged from the bushes nearby, shattering the tension. My hands trembled, instinctively reaching for Leo as dread pooled in my stomach. Had someone heard? I turned back to Elena, my eyes wide with fear. I need you to come with me, she said urgently, her voice low enough to be clipped by the shadows encroaching upon us. There are things that can't wait. Wait for what? I stammered, torn between the primal instinct to flee and an insatiable curiosity for the truth. What do you even know? I know that the danger is real, she replied fiercely, glancing over her shoulder. And that if you stay here, you might not just lose Adam, you might lose everything. Just then, from the corner of my eye, I spotted a figure half hidden in the shadows, a little too close for comfort. My heart stuttered, realization crashing over me in sick waves. The darkness wasn't just an atmosphere of uncertainty. An unseen predator was lurking, and every instinct screamed that the moment was slipping through my fingers. Emma, we have to go now, Leo said, voice urgent. Before I could respond, the figure stepped forward, cloaked in the night, and our eyes met, a spark of recognition. But that familiar face was met with a flash of cold betrayal. And like the twist of a knife digging deeper into an already wounded heart, the truth screamed its unwelcome arrival into my life once more. As the shadowed figure stepped into the dim light of the street lamp, dread cascaded over me like a cold wave crashing onto dry land. My thoughts seized in a paralysis of recognition. It was Nathan, the enigmatic friend from my past, the one whose smile could charm an audience but whose intentions felt murky at best. Our laughter had hung thick in the air during our time together, yet it had always felt like there was something lurking beneath the surface, hidden behind those piercing eyes that seemed to know more than they let on. Emma, he said, pausing to throw me a fleeting glance, it's been too long. His voice was smooth but held an edgy sharpness laced with danger. Elena, I didn't realize you were here as well. He smirked, and for a moment pain collided with disbelief. You two should really update each other on your little conspiracies. Leo positioned himself protectively in front of me, tension radiating from him like a vibrant pulse. What do you want, Nathan? He demanded, every syllable clear and commanding. But Nathan's eyes were locked onto mine, a twisted curiosity flickering beneath the surface. Oh, you must be the new interest. He studied me like I was a puzzle he intended to solve. Tell me, how well do you know Adam? The question hung heavily in the air, and I felt the weight of their shared history uncoil, revealing the tangled threads that bound us all. Enough to know he would never put me in danger, I replied, my voice stronger than I felt. But as I stood there, I realized the unsteady ground beneath our feet. Nathan had a gift for manipulation. It was almost enchanting, a seamless charm that could entangle anyone. But I wouldn't let him weave that tapestry of control around me again. Is that what you think? Nathan's grin widened, revealing a predatory glimmer. You're here, in the middle of this mess, because of him. He can't be trusted. For all that his words tasted like ash in my mouth, I could see right through them, intended to stoke flickers of doubt, to unravel the fragile sense of safety I'd begun to claim for myself. Enough games, Leo snapped, moving to sever the connection between us. If you're threatening her, this conversation is over. I reached for Leo's arm, recognizing that if I were to take control of this situation, I needed to speak my truth. Nathan, if you have something to say, say it. But take a step back. You're not welcome in this conversation. He laughed, low and unsettling, his demeanor shifting. You think I'm the one with the power here? You're playing with fire, Emma. You have no idea of the history that surrounds the three of us. His gaze flickered to Elena, who remained tense and silent, her eyes darting between us, sensing the shift in power dynamics. What are you saying? I asked, stemming the tide of unease coursing through my veins. Instinctively, I moved a fraction closer to Leo. What history? Enough, Nathan, Elena interjected, her voice steely and unwavering. It's not your place to reveal anyone's past to Emma, especially when she deserves to make her choices uninfluenced. Choices? He threw back his head and laughed uproariously, the sound chilling. She's at the mercy of fate, just like all of us. The truth is, things are about to get very complicated, and you're all too young, too naive to think you can control this. I felt the air thicken, the stakes rising dangerously high. You don't know what you're talking about, I shot back, my resolve wavering slightly as his words wormed into my subconscious. Don't you dare threaten me or those I care about. He tilted his head, amusement spreading across his features. Care? That's rich coming from you, Emma. Would you care to share that sentiment with your dear Adam? He waved his finger dismissively. The boy is far too wrapped up in his own schemes. Before I could respond, Leo stepped forward, his frame radiating protective fury. I think it's time you leave, Nathan. You have no place here. Do you think you're the hero in this little fantasy? He laughed again, a wicked sound echoing off the nearby trees. The standoff created an electric pulse and I could feel the tension escalating, hot and suffocating as we stood locked, waiting for the other shoe to drop. But in that moment, I felt my heartbeat settle into a precarious rhythm. All the pain, heartache, and feelings of betrayal had brought me here, to this exact moment, and I realized this wasn't merely a confrontation, it was a catalyst for clarity. Whatever games you're playing, Nathan, I'm not a pawn in them anymore, I declared, my voice stronger than I ever thought possible. You can't manipulate me like before. I choose my path. I choose who to trust. And right now, that's Leo and Elena. Your loyalty will blind you. Don't say I didn't warn you, he said ominously, before turning to walk away. His form fading back into the shadows as quickly as he had arrived. The wind picked up around us, rustling the leaves as if to correspond with the emotions churning inside me. Each breath began to feel like an act of rebellion, pushing back against the chaos. As silence enveloped us, I turned to Leo and Elena with a heavy heart, the weight of the moment beginning to settle. What just happened? Nothing you can't handle, Leo replied softly. Yet I caught the underlying tension in his voice. Elena, you can give me the truth now, I said, unable to quell the apprehensive tone creeping into my words. What did Nathan mean? What's at stake? She stepped forward, clearly intent on shooting a warning before sharing the weight of our interconnected histories. Adam became entwined with a group that delves deeper into manipulation and threats than any of us anticipated. Nathan knew things I couldn't, things he's trying to keep hidden, but they're intertwined with the dangers your life could face. My heart raced, and instinctively, I sought Leo's hand, grasping it tightly. The pulse of his warmth felt strong and steady, grounding me amidst the tremors of fear and betrayal that coursed through my veins. What do we do now? I asked, my voice barely a whisper, echoing the uncertainty of my heart. Elena's eyes bore a fierce resolve. We uncover the truth, and we do it together. No more secrets. But know this. You'll have to confront Adam about everything, and you need to be prepared for whatever the truth serves. As her statement lingered in the air, I felt the gravity of our situation pressing down upon us, complex web of emotion, betrayal, and danger threatening to engulf us. The stakes had risen, and the path ahead seemed fraught with uncertainties, yet within it grew a shard of hope, glimmering amidst the shadows. The air thick with a sense of determination. I nodded. Then let's find out what's really going on, but on our terms. No more hiding behind walls. And with that, we stepped forward, intertwined in the fragile threads of newly forged alliances, and a journey that sparked in the depths of our hearts a promise to one another that we would emerge from this darkness together, ready to face whatever awaited us on the other side. As the stars began to shimmer overhead, I could feel the pulse of possibility rekindling within me. The night was far from over, and while the road ahead may be riddled with shadows of the past, every step guided by trust and courage would carve a new path to the light of hope. And so together we set our sights on the horizon, where chaos could become clarity, shadows could reveal truth, and the past could finally unveil the promise of a new beginning. Let's go, I said firmly, my heart racing as we ventured into the unknown, ready to unravel the twisted threads of fate, stronger together, at long last unyielding against the storms that sought to drown us. In the end, I understood. Love was not just a destination, but a harrowing journey, and I was ready to embrace it all.